All right. Thank you, everybody. Good to see you. Friendly faces, old faces, older faces, new faces. And we have a bunch of people online too. The camera is bare, but I see the list there. So yeah, it's a hybrid meetup. We're going to be recording and putting the talks online. I'm Mattia, one of the two organizers. The other one is Tyler, that is online. If you are online and you have any questions, you can ask Tyler. And if you have anything that you need here, feel free to tag me. We also have my one here from the Score that is helping us host this. Round of applause for the Score, because this office is awesome. They've been super kind to invite us. And we have 3 talks for you tonight. 2 are going to be in person, and the last one is going to be online. So we'll also try the hybrid talk setup. But first, my one is going to say a couple of things, and then we'll get started. So thank you.
Thanks, Mattia. I hope I can keep it to a couple of things. Usually I'm known for dragging things, so I will try to keep things pretty short. Welcome to the Score. We're actually an old friends of Elixir Toronto. We've hosted Elixir Toronto twice. This was right before the pandemic, and now that the pandemic dust has settled down, it's obviously nice to see everybody in person and enjoy this office space and chat with each other and network and obviously take advantage of all the beautiful speeches that some of our folks will present. That being said, I have a few things to kind of go over. First thing first, key housekeeping items. This is pretty much the map of the 10th floor. I don't expect you to know what this is. I'm going to be pointing out to different directions to show you where the washrooms are. Washrooms are all the way down. Take a right, go through the, pass through the arcade, and then there's our washrooms. Refreshments are over the counter, as well as hot drinks, obviously soft drinks. Emergency exit is down the hall right there. Hopefully we don't have to go through that, but just in case. And in case you need to use our Wi-Fi, log into the Score guest, and our password is We the North. So as you all know, the Score has been around for quite a while now. We're the leader in mobile sports media and sports betting in esports industries. We engage millions of fans on a daily basis through innovative digital media and sports betting products. But it started from in 1997 when we were a TV network. We used to broadcast sports news via typical TV channels. And then we've evolved into becoming one of the leaders in the sports media and sports betting business. It started in 2007 when we incubated a small team of developers, and we started building a little app, a mobile app. What we wanted to do was to really cater to some of the folks who didn't want to or didn't have the time to watch TV or consume TV news via on the TV. So we built the app, and that app proved very beneficial over the years. So by 2008, we built the app on native mobile, iOS, and Android applications. And by 2012, we've had, we were Canada's probably #1 most popular sports app with the most users. And that's when we decided to slowly but surely part ways with the TV network that we built in 1997 and really double down on our media platform. And we also diversified our offering in 2015 by building an esport division. So we do custom content video series on YouTube. We have over 2 million subscribers on YouTube. And then the pivotal moment actually came in 2019 when we decided to go into sports betting. This was around the time when the US Supreme Court started to legalize sports betting in the US. And given that we were in the sports media space for a long time, it just made a lot of sense for us as a business to really cater to our betting audiences. So we started building a mobile app called the Score Bet, and we launched in 4 states, New Jersey, Colorado, Indiana. And then by 2021, we've built a huge user base, and we started to talk with Penn National, and that's when we were acquired by Penn National for a whopping $2 billion USD. So the rest is history. It's 2022 now. We've launched in Ontario. As you all know, sports betting has been legalized in Ontario since April of 2022. And we're here to make sports betting a household item, the same way we've been in the sports media business over the last 20 years or so. So I'm not an engineer, but I will try to do a little bit of justice to what engineering looks like at the score. So our values are fans first, think big, win together, and make a difference. And these values are embedded in the philosophy of our engineering teams here at the score. So we're really on a mission to become the leader in sports fan experience in every market we enter into. We're a globally distributed team with a relentless focus on delivering sports fans the ultimate personalized mobile experience. So scale, I know developers like the word scale. Scale is what we do, and we think big. So billions of push notifications per month, handling hundreds of millions of API calls per day, and delivering data in real time to millions of fans. And lastly, collaboration is at the core of our development team's philosophy. Everyone brings unique perspective, and as such, we give people the opportunity to really be the owners, to help shape and define what they built. How do we do it, you may ask? We run a distributed Elixir stack spanning a hybrid multi-cloud infrastructure that supports millions of clients. So for cloud, we have AWS as well as GCP. We also have Azure for some of our enterprise applications. Our backend actually runs on Elixir Phoenix, Ruby on Rails, Kotlin, GraphQL, gRPC, Kafka, Postgres database, and Kubernetes. And our front-end and mobile teams use the latest technologies such as Swift, Kotlin, and React to build fully native, modern, and mobile and web applications. And next, is how you could engage with our brand. So definitely here is a there you go. Yeah. So here's a barcode that you can scan to engage with our brand. You can go there to check our career website, our different products, some of the efforts we have for our early talent job board, Glassdoors, and Penn Entertainment, and some of our other properties here at the score and the interactive groups. And that would be the end. I will give it back to you, Matea.
Thank you so much. All right. Logistics. It's going to take 30 seconds, and our first speakers are going to be up. We have Einar and Marko, and we're going to talk about self-driven development in Elixir, which I think means Livebook, but we'll find out. You want to move up? Okay. There's going to be a bunch of audio in this talk, and I think we figured it out. If you hear one of those like, ee, because the mic echoes, I apologize. It's my fault. Good. Okay. No, just push once. Yes. Once. Yeah. Turn the one on.
Okay, we can see everything.
Suggest an encouraging round of applause for our speakers. You didn't have to. Well, thank you, Mattia. Thank you, Maiwan. Where'd you go? Hi. Appreciate being here. Appreciate the massive crowd. I think this must be near record attendance for the Toronto Elixir Meetup. So I'm very proud to be here for that as well. Welcome to the first talk of the evening. My name is Einar. This is my colleague Marko. Here are details. Our talk is titled Cell-Driven Development. This is our attempt at using smart cells to see where the possibilities of Elixir's Livebook can take us as early career Elixir developers. Marko and I are friends and collaborators. We met each other at Dockyard Academy. I don't know if anybody here is familiar with Dockyard Academy. It's recently launched by Dockyard Inc. Second cohort is ongoing. Livebook at Dockyard Academy, Livebook was our platform for learning Elixir. And we had such a nice experience with it. And over the time that we were at Dockyard Academy and, well, the months before and since, we've seen all these amazing new features in Livebook, and we thought we might want to give back to this space inside of the Elixir ecosystem. So for those who aren't familiar with Livebook, it is a multifaceted sort of platform for the Elixir language and extended technologies. It's an interactive notebook. You can visualize data, you can share knowledge, you can build applications, you can run machine learning tasks. The features of Livebook are many and still growing, as we hope to show in the coming minutes here. One of the cool things about Livebook is its extensibility throughout the software industry at large. Livebook features many integrations with different technologies. We can see here we've got SQL, Hugging Face, Slack, PostgreSQL, MySQL. You get the idea about SQL. Amazon, Vigolite, MapLibre, Mermaid. And here are some of the categories. If you're not familiar with these technologies, here are the categories that they fall into. The point is that Livebook can take Elixir outside of Elixir in a very quick and convenient way, right? You can deploy apps, as I've said before, using Livebook. This new feature, I think it's only been around for less than a year or so. Jose Valim gives an example of the labor required of building and deploying an app on Hugging Face. And it requires all of 15 minutes, perhaps. And in the example in this YouTube video, you can see that he's built a chat application, which is SubHub based essentially, and it uses Whisper to recognize, identify, and transcribe your voice. So you just speak into it, and then you have your text messages sent over across the server to whoever's in the chat room with you. Very simple, very easy. So what are we focusing on? As per the title, we're focusing on cells. What are cells? Cells in Livebook are where you enter your code, where you enter your diagrams,
or where you enter these little automated programs. Automated client-server programs that produce code in the background and are really, really neat, for lack of a better word. There's a very simple structure to smart cells, and I apologize if you can't see this clearly, but essentially you have Elixir on the back end, and you have JavaScript on the front end. Again, client-server relationship. Elixir sends out an init message to the client with the attributes of the smart cell, so the fields that comprise the smart cell, and then JavaScript returns with an acknowledgement of that, and then you just start sending events back and forth. Really, it's really that simple on that level, right? You just send messages from Elixir to JavaScript, and then JavaScript back to Elixir. The server updates the endpoint in the browser, and you see whatever your data is supposed to show you. The default smart cells, if you want to get playing with smart cells, you simply have to download Livebook. Again, you can download onto your local machine, or you can deploy it in the cloud and log in, with user authentication. And then you choose your smart cells, the smart cells that you want, or actually you just create a new cell block, click smart, and then here are the default choices. We're not going to get into those because that's not the purpose of this talk, but we've got machine learning here, we've got graphing, we've got database interaction, we've got messaging, and so on and so forth. One more example if you want to learn hands-off instead of hands-on, you can go visit this video by Jose Belin, where he does some graph work with the Iris data set. Okay, so why are we here? Because we created some smart cells. And the first thing you need to do to create a smart cell is a command wherever you want to store your project, mix new. This is the name of one of our cells. That would not be what you enter in your machine. So mix new, project name, and then you want a supervision tree in there so that the server knows, well, so that the code for the server is auto-generated. Yeah, so let's get into it.
Check. All right. So thank you, Einar. So we just want to create 3 smart cells, learn how to create the smart cells, and then share what we think are cool about them. So the first one we made is Kino util. It's just a utilization smart cell, and we're just going to quickly go through all the callbacks. That you need to implement one. First, so you see we ran mix new sub, so it creates an application file for you. You just have to add this one line, Kino smart cell register. So that'll include your smart cell when Livebook starts up, and it'll be in that drop-down menu we showed earlier. And so then you import these 3 libraries. JS live smart cell, lib assets contains the CSS and JavaScript for your front end, right? And then this is the name that's going to pop up. The way it works, like it handles state in a gen server, so it's assigning values into the state, and then same as other gen servers, you have handle info, handle event, and you do operations on that state. So how you initializing it, you can send messages like with handle info and process them. Same thing. Handle connect. So that's when someone connects to your Livebook instance and this is running. How are you going to set the state? 2 attributes that serializes your state for to source usually. So to source, there's a button always, and this is a really cool thing. So let's say for the machine learning smart cell, if you do stable diffusion, you think it's really cool, there's a button you press to code and you can just copy and paste that in your app itself. So that's another really good feature. And then this is just some of the JavaScript. It's not we don't want to go too into detail for this, but you have to export this function init, context payload, And then however you want to do it, we use view for some of these, but can use whatever you want, and then handle events. So when you send events from Elixir to JavaScript, you can have event listeners on the client side and update however you want. Okay. Boring stuff done. Let's do some demos. So this is quickly how it's going to look like. And let me pull it up. So this is our first one. So just pretty simple. It's just updating, just using OSMon from Erlang to update the values. And then I don't have a GPU, but I just added this to cycle through. So you can see it's just ticking on the back end, sending updates to JavaScript, and then re-rendering in JavaScript. So this was cool for me because I've dabbled in the machine learning in Elixir, and sometimes, like, if you want to increase the batch size, you're kind of guessing when you're going to go out of memory. So this is just a cool, fun thing we started off with. And
So the second of our 3 smart cells is called Kino Sound. I hope that the name is self-explanatory. Our catchphrase is sonify your workflow. The idea is that we live screen-based lives. We stare at these pixels all day, and we are used to that sort of experience of data and of computing, of programming. But it doesn't have to be that way. Moreover, there are people who don't have that privilege, right? And so we thought, well, why don't we add something to the Livebook experience that's not there yet, that might benefit other people, that also could be fun, perhaps. And here we have Kino Sound. It's a kind of call and response. What does that mean? Kino Sound is a smart cell that allows regular cells, dumb cells inside of your Livebook to send commands to JavaScript, in this case, a framework called howler.js, which is essentially an audio player with some minimal features. And that will sing back to you, right? That will give you sound as opposed to just a visual rendering of what you would see when a function successfully evaluates, or when it throws an error, or when it crashes, what have you. Jackie, would you mind muting the mic for a sec?
Very.
All right. Oh, it's here. Can we turn on the microphone?
just turn off.
Sound does not enjoy the same privilege as other modes of sensing the world, and so audio is often difficult to mount and share with other people. So again, this is literally part of the point of why we're doing a sound-based smart cell for your Elixir experience.
Smart cells.
Here we go.
Smart cells.
There's some feedback. Where are we getting that from?
Smart cells.
That voice? Yeah, Jose. Exactly, that's Jose.
Smart cells.
I'm not going to talk now because I want my speaking portion to be on the Zoom recording. So I'm just gonna play around. You can sort of follow along as I play.
Consider it done.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Crash, 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 crash as soon as possible. You saved me.
See you later, alligator.
Hello? Okay, just real quick. That was a short series of commands that you can throw anywhere inside of your Livebook. Remember that the regular cells can send messages to the smart cell, and then the JavaScript framework will respond with audio clips, right? And so there's a success message which you would throw in a function when you want to hear that, when somebody needs to hear or wants to hear that a function is successfully evaluated. There's an error message that you send when you want to know that an error has occurred using your ears, and so on and so forth. But it doesn't have to be simply pragmatic, right?
Smart cells.
Crash, 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 crash as soon as possible. Crash, 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 crash as soon as possible.
The smart cells.
Crash, 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 crash as soon as possible. Crash, 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 crash as soon as possible.
Very basic and simple demonstration of where this can go beyond, again, a simple developer's tool. Raise of hands if anybody recognized any of the sounds in that little composition. The sound isn't optimal, yeah? What did we hear? Say it. What did you hear?
Windows.
Yeah, Windows 95?
Yeah.
Yeah, anything else? No, close. That's from Windows 95. But I think Brian Eno actually composed. We've got an insider here. There's also there was also one other sort of mechanical sound. I'm curious if anybody heard it.
Kino Reeves.
No, exactly. Dot matrix printer. So sounds from some of our childhoods. And then of course there was Jose Valim saying smart cells, and Joe Armstrong saying kind of maniacally, crash, 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 as soon as possible. Let it crash. Okay, that's it for Kino Sound. We've got one more, very exciting, sort of the denouement of the whole presentation, I think.
All right. So this one's not gonna be as fun as that one, but we'll see how I do. The last one is Kino Fly. So has anyone here used Fly.io? Not sponsored. Okay, a few people. So it's pretty cool. Lets you deploy containers all around the world. You're your users, and we used it in our course. So we just wanted to explore, because a lot of these smart cells, they're so flexible, but you just end up doing like one thing. So we wanted to try interacting with some external APIs and seeing what we could come up with. So it's a smart cell that allows you to manage your Fly.io app from one spot. And we're going to show you one way that might be useful, and hopefully it inspires you to come up with other use cases. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Let me pull it up. Okay. So we have, this is, so you just enter your information, your API key, and your application. So right now I have my app running in Tokyo, really far away. let's see. So it's just returning some JSON. It's really simple. But interesting thing is when you install Smart Cell, you actually install the module that it's in, right? So you can add helper functions that interact with your Smart Cell and the user doesn't have to install anything else. So if I just run Kino fly latency, so this is already installed. So this is getting from the state, getting the URL of your running app and plotting the latency over time. So right now it's pretty boring, but let's deploy a new app closer to us. And we can do this right in Livebook. So it's being created and it's starting up. So we should see this go down. Yeah, Toronto should be somewhat closer than Tokyo. What's my hypothesis? It does take a while, so it's going to automatically shift the traffic closer to you. You should be able to see that soon. It just takes a second. There you go. So, you know, it's a cool idea. Like you can test your endpoint. Imagine you can do load testing in like a testing environment, and it's all here, and you have all the plotting and fun stuff that goes along with that. So if I stop it. So it's going to be, see if it goes back up. Yeah. And so also one last cool thing. So I stopped it in Toronto, request kept coming in. It noticed that I have a stopped app in Toronto region. So it automatically started up the app in the Toronto region and then reroutes it back. So you can see there's a jump in latency. It's going back to Tokyo when I shut it down. And then I start it, automatically turns on Toronto for me and then reroutes it back there. So it's a cool thing. And it's an interesting way to explore these things. And hopefully next time it's sponsored. Yeah.
Okay, so those are our 3 smart cells. We have things left to do. Ideally, if time permits, we would like to implement full user customization for Kino sound. So if you have a preferred set of sound effects, for example, you know, you were a Mac user when you're a child, and so you're fond of the Mac startup sound or the Mac error sound, whatever, and you want to use those, or maybe you want to put in your favorite, you know, Spotify clips from your favorite Spotify playlists, whatever, you can drop them right in there and assign them to different functions. GPU detection on all platforms for Kino util. The way it's set up right now, it doesn't recognize AMD GPUs. I don't know what the prejudice is there. It's not our fault. Built-in latency analysis is set. It's there. This is, I guess, from previous ideas about the future of ours. Improved test suites, by which we mean add tests. We're going to release these and maintain them on hex.pm, so they'll be among that crowd of great Livebook integrations that we've seen in an earlier slide. Hopefully, you know, at least the fly.io logo will be now on that page because we've created this smart cell, right? And we would like to split Kino.fly client into its own library, so you can just drop it into your other Phoenix applications if you'd like. More meta or far-reaching ideas about the future are, in other words, our hopes and aspirations. We would like to see more smart cells. It's kind of weird that this amazing replacement for your old school REPL, which is Livebook, is not seeing more participation by Elixir developers, right? And smart cells, the number of smart cells, it being astonishingly low is an indicator of that. We in the process began to feel that, well, nice to have to use more Elixir and a little bit less JavaScript. that's just out of preference, but it's also sort of I'd say like a social, pedagogical, ethical thing, right? Because if the second you require JavaScript to be building this great feature of Livebook, then it precludes all these people who are learning Elixir because it sets another barrier in front of them, right? So if they've learned a bunch of Elixir and then they want to go to this next step and create a smart cell, but they have to learn JavaScript, well, then it's kind of defeats the purpose of Livebook being a great tool for teaching, for example. More programmatic interaction. Meaning that we could set up smart cells to be doing things on a regular basis. Like if you want some reports to be auto-generated and saved to your file system as PDFs like once every 2 weeks or something, we'd like to be able to handle things like that, handle requests or requirements like that, business requirements. More cell-to-cell interaction. Currently, as it is, there aren't any smart cells that allow for that instant messaging and control by regular cells or other places in your system, right? And then more collaboration. We had a ton of fun working on these, and we felt that this project was a great tool for learning and just like interacting with other developers. And we welcome other people to, if you want to build some smart cells and you don't know where to start, there is a slight learning curve. It's not as easy as our slides might have shown. Just reach out to us, or maybe just reach out to one of your friends who has a similar vibe as you, and go make some smart cells on Friday night, whatever. So this is the final slide. Thank you to Mattia and the Toronto Elixir Meetup, to the Livebook team for, again, creating this, what it really is a wonderful platform. We kind of have a biased view because we onboarded into Elixir through Livebook, so we know exactly how powerful it is. Thank you to the Elixir community at large for all these wonderful tools, in addition to Livebook. Thank you to the SCORE for hosting us, obviously, and to Dockyard, who helped us get onto this stage right now. Thanks.
We have time for just a couple of questions. So, Tyler, I'll let you look at the chat in case people type, and maybe you can speak in a second. I have one here from John.
What did you use for the What did you use for the visualization, and how did you find that library?
Hello. We use Vue.js. It's a JavaScript library, and other smart cells in the ecosystem, like the machine learning one, I think uses Vue. So we just took that lead.
The latency chart.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood. Yeah, that's just Kino. So it's like Kino Vega Lite. Vega Lite is a plotting library, and there's bindings in Elixir. So definitely really cool.
That's one of the integrations with Vega Lite. You add this dependency into your Livebook, and then you have all this plotting and graphing capabilities of Vega Lite.
Yeah, you have a question? 1 second.
Folks, from the security standpoint, generically speaking, what principles do you guys to secure your containers to improve your cybersecurity posture? What products are you guys using, again, in general?
Yes.
Thank you.
No, thank you. So this is similar like Jupyter Notebooks in Python. You do want to have a container, but this is really not meant for like a production app as much. Security they are working on some stuff like secret hubs, but yeah, usually this is more of like an internal tool demo and just be able to get up and running really quickly.
Cool. Good point though. Any other questions from here? Let's see one. Yeah, I'll come to you. The big office with a lot of people.
Yeah, thanks for that presentation. 2 questions. One is, I saw some JavaScript code where you're importing with ES modules from a CDN. Was that like a pseudocode or was it a standard?
Yeah, this is what we use. So Again, other ones in the ecosystem, they're used doing the same thing. Like a lot of them will just call the JavaScript library from the CDN, but you can bundle it as well. So,
With the import statement,
sorry.
with the import statement, because I like, it's kind of new to me. I thought it was maybe a pseudocode, but
Yes, so we did, this is not it's not supposed to be here. We don't have the code.
So this,
yes.
So can you do?
oh, yeah, I'm not an expert, but we did some stuff. So there's also a CTX import JS function. So that you can import your bundle through there. And yeah, then it's available. Like it's easy with Alpine. I did it with Alpine JS, but for this it was a little more difficult. So I just did the CDN.
All right, thanks. The other question is around the hooks with Elixir tool you built. You mentioned there is communication between the server and the client. Was it the tool, was it doing polling or yeah, website, sorry.
Yes, so polling, you mean in terms of updating the state on like the server side?
Yes.
Yeah, so for in the Elixir, it was just sending itself messages in a loop, and then it will just handle info and then send a message back up to JavaScript with a new state. And then JavaScript will animate that and everything.
Yeah.
So it's all message passing, server, client.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the question.